NHL Night with your host, the sports, a.k.a. Peter Lebowski, a.k.a. Jeremiah Maxwell. And with him, as always, maybe Pearlo, Wisdom, and Rico in Barrie.
What's up, everybody? Welcome to NHL Nightly. I'm your host, the Sports Beard. With me, as always, maybe is Pearlo, Wisdom, Mr. Steve Duncan, one of the best handicappers out there. What an incredible game we just saw. The Rangers were dead. I was already writing their obituary. I think they would have lost this series if it had went back to Game 7 in New York. I just thought, wow. And then Chris Kreider does the Bill Pullman speech from Independence Day and goes, I will not go quietly in the night. He puts the city and the fucking team on his back and scores a natural hat trick, and they win the game. Pearlo. Unbelievable.
Yeah, I mean.
Oh, my God. Tim York. Sorry, Pearlo. Tim York got on the New York Rangers money line plus 1,200 right before Kreider went nuts. Tim, tell me you really did that. That is amazing. That is fucking amazing. Tim, congrats. Anyway, Pearlo, sorry to cut you off.
Couldn't write a better story for the Rangers. The captain comes out and says that. I mean, that's going to be legendary. He's a legend.
Well, I told my wife a long time ago, Pearlo, I thought that Kreider should have always been the captain.
Well, I guess right. He's not the captain. It's freaking Trouba, right? But yeah, he should have been the captain.
Yeah. But I don't mind Trouba, man. I like Trouba, but and I think he's a great captain. But boy, Chris Kreider, man, New York, he's going down as a legend. An evening to everybody, Derek. Thank you. Damn right, Sod. Go Canucks, go! You got the Canucks tonight, Pearlo. 8-0 off a loss this year. The Canucks 8-0.
Yeah, you know what? I've been kind of going back and forth on it, but I thought I would get a little better price, but they're actually giving them a little bit of respect. But I think sometimes, very seldom, sometimes I just want to enjoy the game. Like I don't really.
You know what, Pearlo? I 100% understand that.
Yeah.
And I appreciate you saying that to our listeners. That I 100% appreciate that, man, because I truly believe, man, we do put a little bit too much emphasis on this gambling stuff from time to time, and it's really about just loving the game. And on that kind of somber note, man, I wanted to talk just a little bit about Darren Decision that passed away, 58 years old, TSN legend. Didn't get to see that guy a lot. Did not realize how yoked that guy was. He was a built man. But I always thought, wow, this guy is awesome. I wish he was on the US thing, but I'm always a hockey first guy. But yeah, man, just rest in peace to Darren Decision. And I totally get it, man.
I don't know if he's from here. I used to play pool with him.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Dutchy. He was.
So you met him a couple of times.
He was quite the character. I mean, when he was younger then, so he was a little kind of a little bit arrogant, but
sure. Yeah,
he was a fantastic pool player. Absolutely fantastic pool player.
That's cool, man. So you met him a few times, huh?
I played pool with him quite regularly because he used to go down to Strathcona. There, he was like the those pool halls that are basically
all pool.
It's like a pool hall, right?
We have one of those here. It's called Billiard Palace. Yeah.
You got it was old school. It had that feel to it, and it was exactly what a pool hall is supposed to be. So I used to go down there all the time, and he would be down there, and I'd play pool with him. Yeah, he was young and a little bit arrogant. I never did not like the guy, but he would play pool with anybody, never turned down anybody. And as he got older, of course, he mellowed out a little bit. And yeah, it was hard to hear today. I mean, that was not an easy way to go, too. He was fighting cancer and all that.
Yeah, I had saw a couple years ago that he had announced that, but it looked like he was doing well. But man, when he was reading all off his stuff, when I saw the video from a couple years ago, I was like, oh my gosh, man. So yeah, I mean, that's cool, man. Do you have any like special stories about Dutchie you want to say or anything when you're playing pool, or just?
Well, we used to play. We used to play for money a lot, of course, and I never beat him until one. He was really good. He was a really good pool player. But one time, the last time I played with him, we played to the best of 7, and he was up 3-0, and I came back and won 4 in a row. That was the last time I played, and then he ended up going to Toronto and becoming part of was it TSN Sportsnet or whatever, and that was the last time I played. So that it was pretty exciting for me to actually beat him, especially when he had me 3-0, and I came back and got 4 in a row on him. Got a little lucky, but it was in a lot of ways, like you knew that in a lot of ways there was a part of him that just loved people. He loved people a lot. He hung around with people. He hung around with everybody. He never shoot anybody away. Like he was good that way.
Well, that's cool, man. That's really cool. I did not know that story, so that was really cool. Mr. Steve Duncan, Pearlo Wisdom, sharing his thoughts on the dearly departed Darren Decision, man. I know, I didn't get to watch a lot of TSN here, but there were a lot of like the draft and stuff when, ESPN would cover that stuff. Especially as of late, they don't do their own coverage for a lot of that stuff now. They are doing it now because they have the package, but beforehand you could watch it on like Plus and stuff. So I was always a big fan of him. I've told the story a long time. In 2016, I swore off U.S. sports radio. I was so done with NFL in the summer, and I started turning into Overdrive with those guys, Noodles, O-Dog, and Brian Hayes. Yeah, and so I like TSN, but I saw a decision a bunch of times, but it's going to be interesting. Did you have any money on the NBA tonight? It looks like Minnesota is.
I did not watch that game. It was a Minnesota spot, and it looks like I should have put something on there, but
sure,
it wasn't really. I mean, it's been pretty back and forth, tight stuff like that.
Well, this isn't a close game right now. It's
no, it's not. Yeah, I thought Denver would
66-42 in favor of Minnesota.
I thought Denver would have more in them tonight, but
yeah. Well, Minnesota trying to stay alive. I hope they. Canucks and Oilers are about to get underway. Occupancy's in the chat. He said very cool story, Pearlo. We will be having Rico on. I think he went to the Blue Jays game, or he went to a baseball game. He'll tell us about it when he gets here. I'm wearing the Giants jacket and the Giants shirt because today they released their 100th year anniversary jersey. I liked it. I think a lot of people hated it, but I thought it was cool. They picked elements from like early jerseys and stuff, so I didn't hate it. I mean, everybody's got an opinion. It's just like, oh, it's cool, it's different. So anyway, so puck's about to drop here in this Oilers game, and Pearlo, you just want to enjoy this one too, or did you have money?
No, I didn't take a side. I got a little bit on it, but it's like not even worth mentioning. I just want to enjoy this. I just want to enjoy this game. This is
pretty significant game. Game 5. A lot of times, winner of Game 5 wins the series. That's not always the case. Obviously, Carolina won Game 5, and but they were down 3-1. So, I give the Rangers a lot of credit for coming back in that game. Super. Yep, put up the Canucks. I put that's the Booyah. That's the Pavel Bure. I have an Elias Pettersson black one, and then I have a regular Canucks jersey. I couldn't find it, so I just went with the Bure jersey because it was down and out. So, oh, come here, guy. Come here. You want to come to me? Oh, Pujin, come on. Sorry, I got one of my dogs. Come here, babies, if you want to. He doesn't want to. Okay, sorry. Anyway, yeah, I reached out. I reached out to Johnny Lazarus. I said, "Hey, if you want to come on and talk about it for 5 minutes, a couple of rounds at the bar." He was at the American Whiskey right across from Madison Square Garden. They were doing a watch party. His podcast, which I didn't say last time when he was on the show, I neglected, is the Blue Crew podcast. I think Avery Zaretsky. I don't know all the guys on there. I'm sorry. I try to listen to a lot of these podcasts, man, but it's so tough. One doesn't have the time in the day, man. I really try to get the ones that hit mostly the NHL. And then, of course, I support Nick Kiprio so much that I always try to listen to the show. I didn't today. I'm feeling pretty under the weather, honestly, today. So sun's gone. It was not very nice day today. So already we got Vancouver and Edmonton flying all over the place underway here. So I got Vancouver in this game all day. Did Edmonton already get a power play? Oh my God.
Yeah, they already got a power play.
A fucking break. And Talkett's rolling his eyes like there was nothing here. I don't know what. Okay. Goaltender interference. Oh, get the fuck out of here with this. He's pushed in. Come on, man. Like, fuck off. What a fucking horrible call. Pius Suter, goaltender interference. Okay. Yeah. Rear Admiral, I agree with you. Really? Come on. Get the fuck out of here with that bullshit. It's not doing anybody any favors, man, because you know in the end you got to play 5v5. And Edmonton's getting fucking dominated 5v5 in this series. So if I was an Oilers fan, I'd be real scared. So anyway, yeah, I mean, I thought the Rangers did not play bad in the first, almost didn't deserve to be down 1-0. And then, you know, the second one is, you know, just come on, man. Like, you can't call that. You can't call that call in the playoffs, man. You just can't. So I don't like it.
That pass by Martin was saucy in that first.
Dude, he hit the post. They had a couple of posts. Like, they could have been up in that game 5-1, 6-3 final could have been, I thought. But no, man. Like, Shesterkin stood tall. He didn't give him much. So Edmonton is doing their power play thing. So they just missed an interference penalty on Kane, is what Rick is saying. You're probably a little bit ahead of us. I'm not seeing it. Yeah, no, Rick, I'm okay with that not being called on Dakota Joshua. Yeah, it was okay. I kind of thought I don't think he sold it, but I think he kind of fell weird. I think maybe he was just on his edge or whatever. He does push him a little bit. That could have been that. I could see it getting called, but yeah, we'll see. So anyway, sorry for the pausing of the delay. Vancouver wins a face-off, 17-31 in the first. I'm sure you guys are a little bit ahead of me. Picard is starting for the Oilers. I thought once they made the change, they could not go back. And I don't know why you would even consider going back to Skinner. So What's happening here, and why did the clock stop? So the Canucks kill a power play. And somebody said that was the first time the Canucks had killed the power play in the first power play. Oh, McLeod shot the puck after the whistle. That's what occupancy is saying. Yeah, I don't have volume, so again, appreciate you guys.
This pace is pretty high, man. They got Pedersen on the wing now, right?
Yes, they put. I love Rick Tocchet mixing it up, man. And look, he was playing with. I don't want to say a couple of scrubs. Oh, that was a nice little shot from Zadorov on Draisaitl. I like it. So that's over. That is over. And yeah. Yeah, I've liked Vancouver's physicality in this series too. It's going to be good. So, because I'm a little under the weather and this is a game we both want to just chill and relax, this is going to be a real quick show today, guys. Panthers Bruins tomorrow, Pearlo. You think Boston forces a game 7 here?
I gotta take the Panthers, but Boston is like that. Boston's Boston.
Yeah, and I think Marchand's gonna play.
They don't die. They play with freaking a lot of heart and a lot of balls. Doesn't matter who's wearing that jersey. It's just a long-standing tradition of culture that they can surprise anyone at any time. So, but I'll probably end up taking Florida there. It's just they got the better team on paper, but with Boston, sometimes a lot of times that doesn't even really matter. They play a perfect type of they play hockey. Like if you wanted to say which team is like prototypical of what a hockey means, I would say Boston. Boston is that. So I wouldn't be surprised if they win, but I'll probably end up having to Florida now. The Oilers are swarming right now.
Yeah, I'm not worried. I think Vancouver will get their legs here. This will be good for them to survive a little bit of this wave. And this is Edmonton anyway. This is what they do. They're an offensive team. They need to be playing in the offensive zone. Vancouver is going to get their limited chances, but they're going to take advantage of it. Did Kane score?
Yeah. Yeah, nice shot.
Yeah, mixing up the lines was a good thing too. Okay, and then we've got game 6, Stars Avalanche in Denver. I think Dallas ends it.
Well, I've got Avalanche for the series, so I'll probably just leave it at that. And I'm not confident about that now. But the last game, I mean, McKinnon and McCarr, if they decide to take over a game, they can do it. If they can get some decent goaltending, they got a really good chance. But Dallas is pretty stacked. It's going to be a tight game. I would go with the under in that game for sure. Probably going to be a 6.5. I would say an under. Because I think that's going to be tight, really tight.
Yeah. I mean, I have to say, like, too, everybody said Georgiev was going to be the problem in this series, and he's been anything but it. Tim, I think this one game they got a kick in the gut, right in the nuts. Their leading scorer in the playoffs, Nichushkin, off the team for 6 months. They're still missing Landeskog. They've got some injuries. Rantanen hasn't looked the same since the first round, so it's going to be interesting. So then Saturday we have a game, Oilers Canucks. That's happening. That'll happen regardless, right? Game 6 in Edmonton. And then Sunday, if necessary, we'll have 2 Game 7s. So if the Bruins win, it'll be the Bruins. And actually, I believe if the Rangers would have won, we would have lost. We could have had 3 Game 7s on Sunday if all the stars align. So I don't know what you are thinking there, but wouldn't that be kind of a cool thing to have 3 Game 7s? Just so good for the sport too. And I have to say, like, it sucks LA didn't go anywhere this year because it's the second largest media market, but it does not hurt that the Islanders and Rangers in the largest media market, are in. And, Dallas is a big market. Florida, I don't care. Miami's a big market, man. And I hear Sammy McKee talking about the Florida. I've been to game there, man. The fans show out. There was a lot of fans. There was some Buffalo Sabres fans there. It was a regular season thing. You get that because a lot of Northeasterners go. Everybody I met down there was from New York. So, this Rangers series, there's going to be a lot of Rangers fans there because half of the damn city leaves and goes there because Florida is a tax-free state, It's like living in the islands, So it is what it is. Tim says, yes, I agree with that, Tim. Yes, Tim is saying that the Avs roll 1 and 2 for 23 minutes a game, and Dallas can roll 4 lines. That's correct, Tim. Yeah, no, 100%. I see that being the thing.
The reason why I took Colorado on this one is that it's sort of like when you've got the thing is Taves is not in, so I'm probably
he was there. He played last game, Pearlo.
Okay, so he is in.
Yeah, he only missed the 1 game.
With Taves in, then that top line can play for 25 minutes.
I'm worried about for sure. I think too. I think that they're that well conditioned because they play at altitude and stuff. So, and honestly, I think the reason they do so well on the road in the playoffs this year is because they are used to breathing that thin air. If anytime you watch a marathon, some guy from wherever wins the race because he's lives in Mount Kilimanjaro and he comes to Boston and he weighs nothing and he's used to breathing thin air and he can breathe like all this air. They just do so much better. So
that was why I just, for this round anyways, I thought their top end players would be able to be well conditioned enough. Dallas has the depth, which usually comes in more later in them, like when you're talking about if they make it past here, then you're talking that's when the depth really matters. When you make it past the second round, because now the top end guys on the opposition team are just going to start fading a little bit, especially when you get to the finals. That's when it really helps you. But you got Makar and Taves, both of those, I believe. Makar and Taves is as good as he's given to me. And Makar is, I still say, I love Hughes, but I still say he's the best defenseman in the league and possibly second best player in the league. There's a question for you. Would you take Makar or McKinnon?
If I had to pick any player, I would probably take Makar.
Yeah.
I just think he's so special. I love McKinnon, but I do love McKinnon. McKinnon is like a unicorn too. Like I kind of feel like McKinnon is a little bit of a mix between like Crosby and Ovechkin. Like Ovechkin was such a great skater, especially early in his career, and just a bull in a china shop, and that's McKinnon. And
I just think Makar's overall game is better than just about anybody in the league. It's not just about his scoring. Like he's a very, very, very good defenseman as well. He does it all. He does everything. Like he's incredible, smart. It's like he barely makes. He's the closest thing we've seen to Nicholas Lidstrom since he.
Yeah, I actually really equate Makar to Bobby Orr. Like all the stuff I've seen from Bobby Orr. Bobby Orr was a great defenseman, but he was just so amazing offensively, and that's what I see from Makar. He's so unbelievable offensively, but he's not a defensive liability at all. He's a really good defensive player. I know his numbers, his advanced numbers this year were not great, but he's still pretty amazing. Hands of Crosby, power of Ovi, or name any great power forward. I mean, dude, Tim, that's why I always hated the Crosby Ovechkin comparison, because Crosby is a great two-way center, but he's probably not as good defensively as Bergeron, but offensively, obviously, he was much, much more gifted. He's a great playmaker too. Definitely a great passer like Gretzky. Where Ovechkin is a power forward shooting, winger. Like I just if you want, I just don't understand why you would even want to compare them. I wish they actually had gotten to play on the same team. It would have been really cool to see, honestly. I mean, other than the All-Star game, in their primes, just to see it, Oh, we got Rico. So you were at the Jays game? You're muted.
Jays didn't play today.
You're muted, Rico, and I can't unmute you.
I was playing baseball.
Oh, you played. Oh, you were playing. Okay, yep, awesome.
Yeah,
did you? So you didn't get to watch the Rangers Carolina game at all?
I caught the first part of it, then a little bit of the highlights when I got home, but it looked like Carolina was sitting there comfortably, and Shesterkin kind of just kept them in the game. Carolina had a lot of good chances to increase that lead past 3-1, and Shesterkin hung on and
two posts too. 2 posts.
Yeah.
2 posts.
Crazy, man. I mean, the thing is, you go into a series with the second best goalie. Like a lot more people should have been on the Rangers.
I was amazed. By the way, I appreciate everybody on X watching. We got a bunch of people on X. I'm seeing that on Frank's show. Like they had 3.6. They had 3,600 people watching on X. There was 200 in the chat on YouTube. It's like we're getting almost twice to triple the numbers on Twitter now that we are on YouTube. So pretty awesome.
I found ever since Elon took over Twitter, it's by far the best social media. I get way more everything on. I get way more people looking.
Well, I haven't been on Facebook in forever, and I have Instagram, and we're live on Instagram right now. And there might have been somebody that popped in, but I don't think so.
But ever since he took over Twitter, it's been way better. Way
better. It's the app I spend all my time on, and it has nothing to do. It was that way when Jack Dorsey ran it. It was the same when I just I wished I would have kept my original account, but. Because I would have 10,000 followers, but it's and that would help our numbers here. Because I think we're doing a good
garbage, to tell you the honest truth.
Yeah, I mean, so you're dealing with different companies, right? Google is YouTube, and Facebook is Instagram, and Instagram are part of the Facebook, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
Meta now it's called. Now it's called Meta.
What? Oh, Meta. Yeah, I'm sorry, Meta. Thank you, Rico. So Tim York is saying, and we'll get Tim involved, Freddie is worse than most goalies once you get him moving side to side. I thought he was awful tonight. He opens. I thought the Rangers just didn't get a lot of shots on goal early. I thought they looked good in the first. But I thought they just looked like dog crap in the second. And I was like, wow. So And then it was, the third period was Chris Kreider. I said before you came on, Rico, he did the Bull Pullman speech from Independence Day. We will not go quietly in the night. And he puts the city and the team on his back and just wins the damn thing, a natural hat trick in the third period. And then they get an empty netter to boot, Goudreau. So.
Ultimate power forward, man. Chris Kreider. Just a guy you would want at playoff time on every team.
Tim said he also said that he was wary of Freddie. I saw Nick Alberga tweeting too. I think any Leaf fan is like Freddie Anderson. I was sort of surprised that once they went to Kochetkov, even though they lost game 3, that they didn't just stay with Kochetkov. He went right back to Freddie, and I was like, I would have stayed with Kochetkov, my opinion. I don't know. What do you think, Pearlo?
I agree. Totally agree. I don't know why you don't just – I mean, you're down anyways, and he's the goaltender of the future. Why wouldn't you just get him playoff experience just for that alone? He's not – Anderson's not better than Kochetkov. So, at best, they're equal. So, you might as well give the kid all the opportunity to get that. Because
Anderson was hurt most of the year, so he didn't really play.
Yeah. It doesn't make any sense because, he doesn't have any playoff experience. Well, he's your goaltender of your future. There's only one way to get playoff experience. You got to play him. So I don't know. I agree. I think that's over now, though. I don't know what kind of contract did they give Anderson?
I think so Carolina has 8 UFAs and 3 RFAs. So I'll look it up right now, and we can look right at the list. I'll put it on there for you guys. Because
she's one of them.
Yeah, I think Pesci is an RFA, though.
No. He's a UFA for sure.
I might be getting.
I know Chatfield, Brady Shea, Jake Gensel. I think Natchez or Nason, one of those two. I always get them mixed up with each other.
Yeah, I agree. I agree with Pearlo on that. Here, I got it right here. Via
he's got one more year at 3.4.
Who?
Frederik Andersen. He's 34 years old.
But they got Kochetkov locked up at $2 million till 26, 27. So they obviously view him as a longer term goalie. They could move Anderson, honestly, at the deadline. They got Spencer Martin in there. I think he's more than a capable backup here. I'll get a little zoom action. If it'll let me here. There we go. Oh, I guess it didn't stay.
I know Kotkaniemi didn't do jack squat in this playoffs. He was terrible. Getting paid.
Yeah, but I mean, he's been playing fourth line for them for a while. And honestly, they didn't really overpay him. He makes $4.8. So, if you just pay a bunch of guys $4 or $5 million, which is what their highest paid player is Aho, right? Next year, Svechnikov makes $7. I thought Svechnikov was invisible. And Hot Take Hockey tweeted this, man. I want to ask you, Rico, and we'll go through this. What do you think about a Marner for Svechnikov trade? Both 24. You got Svech is locked up to a nice long deal at 7.75. So that gives the Leafs a lot of $4 million off the cap right away from the Marner thing. Carolina can easily fit Marner's salary under their cap. Now that owner isn't willing to pay, but maybe just to change up the roster, they got to do something, right? What do you think of that trade?
I mean, Svechnikov just seems like he's hurt a lot. I know Marner was dealing with that high ankle sprain. Not too much you can do about that, and it's not something that lingers beyond that injury. But I don't know, man. Svechnikov seems like a guy that just gets hurt. I mean, I don't know. Unless you put Svechnikov in the middle, he could probably drive a line because he was playing on the wing with Aho and Gensel most of the time. So it seemed like Brindamore was kind of moving him around a little bit. Then he found a home on the top line. So great player, man. That's something to think about for sure, especially coming in at 3 or 4 million less than Marner's going to ask for. So,
yeah, you got him locked up long term. You don't have to do any. You don't have to do any. His contract goes to 2029, so like you'd have him for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 more years, and you wouldn't have to worry about it. And then he's only 30. So here's their RFAs: UFA. Teuvo Teravainen, UFA. Didn't see much of him. Jake Gensel. I actually thought Jake Gensel was virtually invisible in this one, too. Didn't see a lot from him until they started winning. It was a tight series. Netchis is the one with RFA, Marty Netchis. That's the one I was thinking of, not Pesci. Netchis. He's an RFA. UFA Martinuk. I think he's back. RFA Jack Drury with Arbrights. RFA Seth Jarvis. Seth Jarvis is going to get paid. Ryan Suzuki RFA, and then still got Orlov, Slavin, and Burns for 1 more year. Going to have to figure out how to pay Brady Shea and or Brett Pesci and or Tony DeAngelo and or who was the guy you guys said Pesci, right? I said Pesci. Okay, yep. Pesci, and then RFA Dylan Coughlin with Arbrights. He didn't play, so I don't think they are. I know they got some young guys, Morrow, in their system and stuff, so they got some young kids in their system it's up there. So yeah. Well, sorry, it's taken. So what do you guys think? Is Teravainen back?
Oh, man.
he actually didn't play too bad. He's not a bad player. He shows up some nights, and other nights he seems like he disappears. He's a streaky player.
Yeah, that's why I think he might not be back. Lots of teams need offense out there. And Carolina's just got a very tight salary structure. So if somebody throws Carolina 7.5 for what he's given.
Would you gonna give him that though? He's not gonna get that. I think he's gonna make the same.
I think he will. Absolutely. The cap's going up, and there's teams that need offense. He brings offense, and he's shown he can be a point-a-game guy in the right situation. So I think you're going to be really surprised at some of the contracts that are going to be thrown out there this year, especially for teams that like desperately need offense. So I wouldn't doubt it. I mean, I think there's going to be a lot of crazy contracts out there this year. I'm not saying he should get it, but if you look down the league and what's available, it's there's not much out there. I mean, there's not much out there on the open market. So, I'm not saying you should make that much money, but that doesn't really mean much when somebody's desperate for offense, and there's very few guys out there to grab.
I'm losing my feet.
The only thing I would be concerned about letting him go, though, is that him and Aho are like super tight. Super tight.
You're talking about Teravainen?
Teravainen and Aho are super tight.
Okay. All right.
But so the only problem, Aho's there till 2032 or whatever. It doesn't really matter as far as contract is concerned, but it might piss him off. Yeah, I don't know.
Let's go to the next one. Jake Gensel. Is he a Carolina Hurricane next year?
Pearlo called it earlier. He said he's going to end up in somewhere like Columbus, somebody that's going to overpay for him. So you can.
I think Minnesota.
Carolina doesn't keep him.
Well, Edmonton's on the power play.
Somebody somebody needs to be on Johnny Gaudreau's side there in Columbus. So that's why I kind of remember Pearlo saying Jake Gensel. Like Johnny Gaudreau needs somebody that could put the puck in the net beside him. So definitely see that. Yeah. Minnesota, of course, too, is not a bad spot too. But that Pearlo saying Columbus always stuck with me for some reason.
Zach Hyman just took a penalty, so they're going to get 4-on-4. And he's holding them the whole time. Sidorov is letting the ref know it for sure. Yeah, he did hold him. Yeah, he held him. You're on the power play. You're going to do everything to get your advantage, but it is what it is. He's going to get a boatload. Maybe LA if they have space. They don't have space, Tim. We've looked at that. They need to figure out their goaltending. That's it. They're going to lose a couple of guys here. So the next guy on the list, Martinook. I think he's a heart and soul guy there. He's probably back, right? He signs a 1-year cheapy deal. Probably comes back for a mil 5. You know, you guys think?
I think he'll get over 2 in this next one.
Well, with the cap going up, maybe 2, right? He's only 31. I thought he was a beast. He saved the goal. He could have scored another one. He hit the cross. He put a dent in the crossbar.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Stefan Nason. Nason was kind of a beast too. Did they bring him back?
I think so. What do you think?
He's a sneaky goal scorer. He shows up once in a while too. On the
dude, he had a bunch of key goals in this playoffs. I thought, didn't he open the scoring? I think he's opened the scoring for Carolina. Let me. Well, Marty
you can play him all over your lineup too. Like,
yeah.
I think he's one of those utility guys you can plug in just about anywhere, and it's hard. You know, he doesn't get paid a lot. He'd probably get a raise, but I mean, he doesn't get paid huge. As long as he likes Carolina, I think he'll be
back. Brady Shea, left shot defenseman, pretty good. Had a big overtime winner. Is he back?
I don't know, but he's going to sign for right around that amount. I think his salary is right around what he is as a
5.25. You think he gets an extension, making the same amount of money?
Somewhere around there, maybe a Morgan Riley type deal, but he's a little bit older. So
yeah, he's 30. So yeah. What about Brett Pesce? And then Pearlo,
I don't think he's back, but he should be. But I don't think he will be.
Yeah, I heard he turned an extension down with them.
Yeah.
So, and then Jalen Chatfield makes $762,000. He's gonna be making $4 or $5 million a year. I think someone's gonna give him a deal. And I don't think they keep D'Angelo either. I think Tony D'Angelo, who by the way is 28 now, will have to sign somewhere else. What about the New York Rangers, low key? Tony D'Angelo reunite with the New York Rangers?
I saw him hugging those boys in the handshake.
He got booted off the Rangers, didn't he?
Yeah, they basically cut his ass.
Yeah, they booted him out when he.
Him and Georgiev had
wasn't it him that badmouthed Georgiev or something?
Yeah, it was. Yep, that's what I just said. But I guess you didn't hear me. Okay. You get a Joe Nieuwendyk card. You get a Joe Nieuwendyk card. You get a Joe Nieuwendyk card. You get a Joe Nieuwendyk. I asked the guy from Hockey Jerseys, "Are you messing with me?" He's like, "Oh my God, not again." Tony D to Detroit to replace Gossespear. Well, all right. I don't like it. I don't hate it, Darkness. Yeah. So Pesci's going to be in demand, man. He's 29. He's a right shot D. He's a pretty good player. He was injured a lot, so
I think Tony D'Angelo.
I've actually heard the exact opposite, Tim York, from people that know him and play with him. I think he got railroaded because he spoke out politically, and it's just New York is kind of a liberal town, so if you say anything that like the masses don't like, you know, we're kind of getting away from that now, though, man. People are starting to just say, okay, that's that guy's opinion, and it is what it is. We can live with each other because we're not really all that far apart on what we want. And so, most people can agree. But yeah, I've heard the exact. Pesci in Toronto with an overpay. Tim York, I could totally see that, my man. Rico, what do you think? Oh, Rico, you're muted.
Yeah, sorry, buddy. A Pesci or a Chatfield or somebody like that. The Leafs are going to get horny on a right-hand shot defenseman. They're going to try and pull out another Klingberg out of their ass and see if they could sign somebody to 1 year or something. Because Toronto's in a little bit of a cap crunch next year as well too. Because Nylander's going up and Tavares is still on the books.
I think Chatfield's going to stay there. I've heard from some people I know down there that know him that he's going to re-sign. I know Kipper has been singing Chatfield's praises on Real Kipper and Born, and I'm sure he's got Leaf fans going, "Oh, low-key Chatfield would be awesome," and I think he would be a good Leaf. And is he a Toronto area kid? I think he might actually be a Toronto area kid.
He's from the U.S. He's from Michigan.
Oh, is he?
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh shit! I want him on. I want him on the USA. I want him on the bottom pair for USA. Well, we'll see. We got a lot of good players.
Well, yeah. There's a team that Detroit could use him.
Yeah, and he's a Michigan guy. He probably grew up being a guy here. Let me take this off here. Sorry, guys. We'll go back to the full screen.
Vancouver, Ponce one.
Yes. Let's go, Canucks.
I had both teams to score first period. I forgot about that. You asked me about my bets, and I completely forgot.
Vancouver. Who scored? Yeah, you're ahead of me, Tim. Oh, yeah. Oh, that was a trip.
Trevor Linden.
Trevor Linden
from Cliff Ronning and Jeff Courtnall.
Remember the Canucks goalie Dan Cloutier? Like, he was such a wild man. He'd always be fighting people and shit. The best goalie fights. Oh my god! Who? Dan Cloutier?
He's either from Barrie or he played for the Barrie Colts because his name got thrown around here quite a bit.
Fuck yes, let's go, Canucks. Oh my god, oh my god, let's go, Connors. Hey, Carson Soucy, welcome back to the lineup after your fucking bullshit suspension. Fucking rock on, baby. Go, Canucks, go. Woo! Oh my god, dude.
Yeah, I forgot I put this in a while ago. I had both teams to score first period, which we just nailed, plus 130, and I have draw.
You didn't have shit. Before the show, he goes, I just really want to enjoy this hockey game.
I didn't pick anything on the side, but I forgot I did those. Oilers.
He's got like 17 bets on it.
Oilers just scored.
Dude, fuck off.
That pissed me off too because I draw first period. Fuck.
Fucking boo.
But at least I got both teams to score. It's still green.
That is the worst thing. You give up a goal right after.
Yeah.
Like right after.
Oh, that was a sick pass. What is that? Is that drive?
No, that was 28. Isn't that Connor Brown? Connor Brown with a nice sauce to like Ryan McLeod. They have Janmark with the goal.
Janmark.
Yeah, it looked like there was some interference by the Oilers, but I don't know. That's a Gorgon's in the chat. Yeah, I think there was a little bit of interference there, but because that created a 3-on-1. That should have been fucking interference. Connor Garland's pissed. He fucking smashed his stick. He did not like it. Yeah, anyway. Yep. Edmonton may have got away with one there. I think if you could challenge for these bullshit offsides, you should be able to challenge for a penalty. Anyway, that's just me. and then the refs can make the call. I think that would eliminate a lot of this controversy that we get, you know.
Yeah, you'd have to do. I mean, because you'd only have to have like maybe one a game or something, because it already slows everything down. But maybe you can go one a game or something like that, or one challenge.
Yeah.
Dude, I watched a Chicklets show today as if they had Tom Green on his mule, eh?
I guess he moved back to Canada, huh?
Yeah, he's been there for a while. He goes.
Where does he live in Manitoba then? For sure.
No, he's in Ontario somewhere.
Oh, because he said Manitoba. I think he didn't want to give his location up. Did you get the impression that he was like, I don't want to give up my location up?
Yeah, I think he lives somewhere north, like somewhere between like Barrie and Ottawa. I have a feeling like somewhere up in the Kawarthas, maybe somewhere around that.
He's a big Senators fan, so
that's why he's like, did the Senators win the cup, or like he was talking about Senators or whatever? I know he's up in the Ottawa Valley somewhere. I know he's up in that area. If I had to guess, I could just tell because I've seen his Instagram lives a few times. But he's definitely tucked away somewhere, away from LA for a while, forever.
Yeah.
But you don't need to live there anymore. Now he's got a huge social media following, and he can do whatever he wants from there. He's got his
Occupancy said he got on his radio show during the pandemic on a call-in. Wow, what did you talk about? Do you want to come on the show and tell us what you talked about? Put a thumbs up in the chat, and you can tell the story. Come on and tell the story. I don't know if you're busy.
That rap song he did, Check the OR.
Yeah,
he had the Ottawa cap on. And,
She had the what? Sorry,
Ottawa cap. He was wearing an Ottawa cap.
He did this scream thing for the Capitals on their Stanley Cup year or something. Unleash the Fury or something. I don't know, but he did it for the Caps.
Cool.
So, and I was like, I just thought he was a Capitals fan or something, because I was like, oh, maybe he was a Caps fan, but that makes sense. Ottawa.
Yeah, I watch his live. I watch his podcast every once in a while if he's got somebody good on. The only thing about that Svechnikov for Marner, they really need shooters more than passers. That's the only reason why I would say maybe not, because. And Svechnikov is supposed to be that.
I guess Rangers fans are chanting Boston. We want Boston. I'll just say this. This isn't them ducking the Florida Panthers. The Boston-New York thing is actually a huge rivalry. It's like Toronto-Montreal. It's a huge freaking rivalry.
Yeah. Never. It's just stupid.
Well, the original 6 teams.
Yeah, this is not the Leafs fans chanting, we want Florida. Those guys are douchebags. And somebody find that guy wearing the San Diego Padres hat in the middle of that crowd and punch him in the face and say it was from the sports beard. You know who I'm talking about. You know who I'm talking about, right, Rico?
No. Who?
You don't know what I'm talking about? Here, I'll find it.
No. All I saw tonight was they're panning the camera out in a crowd in Carolina, and they're pointing at all these kids crying, and I felt so awful.
Oh my God, that kid crying! I can't believe they did that to that kid. That's bullshit. I was like, what are you doing?
Get the cameras off the crying kids, for God's sakes, man. That's horrible.
Yeah, that was brutal, man. Here. Here, this. This kid with the brown, with his head, with the Padres hat.
Oh yeah, just
Just wait.
Kid right there.
punt him to the moon, man. Send him to the moon.
Show me that again.
Actually, this may be this kid with the James hat I'm talking about. I don't know. The San Diego Padres guy, he can fuck off too.
See, they packed MSG tonight full of fans as well too, eh? All the
Just
Rangers
the lower
fans.
bowl, but yeah, they probably don't charge anything. I was actually surprised because the fact that there wasn't. Oh, cool. Was that not food? Oh, it was okay.
It's a Jonathan Toews jersey.
It's not a Jonathan Taylor. It's an out. Hey, shout out Colby Cohen and Johnny Lazarus. Their show. It's an out west hoodie. I'm gonna try it. I'll try it live on air. We bust out I wore my New York Giants stuff, to celebrate. I don't want to pop a bunch of Rangers stuff on. But anyway, I gotta go. So we're gonna end the show.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's okay too.
Guys. We did do an hour, so that's pretty cool. Oh my god, this is insanely comfortable. I already love it. And my wife's gonna steal this from me. I know it. Whoa, dude. This is way nice. This is way fucking nice, dude. Yeah. I would text those guys, but it's like 11 a.m. So later, Tim. Thanks for everybody coming out. Appreciate you. We'll see you next week. Peace.
Take care.